When we were first asked to do this project, my clients invited me up to the house to take a look at the home and overall property. They really wanted us to start with more furnishings, but after viewing the entire property and seeing how much potential it had, we decided to move it in a fully different kind of avenue, which was taking the house down to the studs. So when you drive into the actual property, the gates open and you're met with the most beautiful 100-year-old oak trees, eucalyptus trees. It really is almost its own character of itself because within the 3.5 acres, the house sits on a bluff. So surrounding the house is all of these beautiful, gorgeous trees. And we wanted to make sure that you felt like you were kind of floating above in the trees and that you could see this at all times. So the first thing we did before even starting the house was we actually reconstructed the barn, and we made this another kind of off-site office for my clients to utilize while we were taking site meetings up at the main house. The barn itself was nothing other than 4 walls, and we were able to paint it a beautiful black, put in gorgeous glass and steel doors and windows, and have a really beautiful picture window that looks over the entire meadow of the property. And this is something that the clients may turn into a beautiful tack room one day, but for now, it's just a secondary office that we think turned out absolutely beautiful. So not only within the 3.5 acres do you have the beautiful barn and the beautiful stables, you have the fire pit, you have these beautiful tennis courts, and we put in some really beautiful landscaping down in the lower area of the property. So there's multiple destinations throughout this entire 3.5 acre compound. And as the clients started seeing how well this was progressing, they realized that this could be a home that they actually wanted to stay in for a lot longer than maybe what they envisioned. And that's when we got to the main house. The main house itself was built in the late 1950s. It's a really beautiful, cute, traditional style, almost white kind of farmhouse cottage, but that meant it had very low ceilings, very narrow hallways, and the house itself was 7,000 square feet, so we didn't change that. But we had to work within the confines of the Coastal Commission. So we had to really put our architecture and design hats on and think about them together and make this house kind of come to life. So one of the main kind of staples of this project was focusing on the interiors as not only something that really defined the energy that ran through the home, but keeping it very clean and simple. One of the most amazing finishes in this whole home is definitely all the plaster work that you'll see throughout. So every single wall is done in a really beautiful Roman clay plaster. And if the ceilings are not wood, they're also done in this really beautiful clay plaster. The fireplaces are actually emulating really beautiful stone. It was a feat in itself to get this done, but I'm so thrilled with the way that it turned out because it really does look like stone sitting on the fireplace that was found somewhere here within the property. We also did this in the TV room where we have a really big hearth that we want to emulate stone. One of the standout moments, I would say, in this house has to be the language of the steel and glass exterior doors and windows and the same language of the steel and glass that is inside of the home. So we made sure to kind of marry the two together because we wanted an industrial vibe that felt like there was some real kind of, I guess, storytelling behind the actual home itself. And so where things didn't feel so soft, because I think there's nothing better than a story that actually has a lot of different layers to it. And I like to treat all of our homes as if you are watching one of your favorite films. So when you have the beautiful textured soft clay plasters butting up to the gorgeous steel and glass of the interior or the exterior doors and windows, it allows yourself to your mind to feel grounded and really come to a place of kind of romanticism. The marbles that we selected for this home are, I wouldn't say the most flashy, but they are the most beautiful. And I wanted there to be a real kind of creation of old world that is felt within all the stone throughout the house. Within the home, we tried to kind of stick to a philosophy of less is more. So we kind of repeated our materials throughout the house just to keep everything very consistent. The main materials that we used were really beautiful steel and glass elements, interior as well as exterior. This is in the pantries, the beautiful archways, and the sliding doors that are used throughout the home to create a separation of space in between rooms that we actually didn't have physical doors. Throughout the home, you'll see a lot of white oak, which is on all the floors, as well as a lot of the staircase details. This is something that we want to make sure really felt warm and inviting. The ceilings are also done in a really beautiful white oak that's kind of stained in a little bit of a darker tint, just to add a little bit of contrast in between these two wood finishes. For me, I think lighting is one of the most important things of a home. There are a little bit of the jewels, I guess, that you would hang within the elements of the actual structure. So we had some stunning vintage lights from Obsolete that we were able to use in our kitchen island. We commissioned an amazing metal fabricator to do the constellation light that is at the top of the cuddle puddle. So when you're staring up at the cuddle puddle, you're looking at what is a constellation. Turned out extremely well. So when it came to the pool, I had a vision, I guess, that I wanted to see something that didn't really feel like your standard pool. I wanted it to almost feel like you were looking at a mirage or a lake, because you are surrounded by such beautiful old trees and nature that it felt too obstructing just to have a standard pool. To go even further, we decided to do a black bottom pool, which definitely makes it feel almost like you're staring into a lake, because it's not your standard white stucco. And I couldn't be happier with the way this has come out. It allows the home to also have a little bit of a nod of something that's a bit more modern, but still keeps that authentic kind of, again, old world energy that I think is so special about this particular property. For this particular project, we came in with a pretty clear vision, which was wanting to keep the actual nature of the land as almost a main focal point to the actual home itself. So when we decided to design the home, we wanted to keep that at the forefront of our design vision. And I have to say, I think we accomplished that and then some, between the beautiful vintage wood of the outside of the structure, the stunning steel and glass doors and windows that open up with one another. It just gives you that amazing indoor-outdoor California lifestyle that everyone dreams about, but it still feels almost cinematic. So when the clients came to us about the redesign of this home, they had two very different visions of what they felt was their dream house. And it was up to us as a design firm to make sure that we listened to both of them, but then came to the table with something that really felt cohesive and lovely to both individuals. So for us and for the clients, coming into the vision with that in mind, and then being able to execute that vision was definitely not a small feat, but something that I think we all feel we accomplished, I think exceeded our expectations. So that was very, very special.